I remember when we first met and you shared your story, I saw the twinkle in your eye when you talked about Gabrielle in the pool, in the water. Can you share more about that?
Absolutely.
Could you share that with this group?
Absolutely. And I apologize for looking down. I'm trying to work on my Wi-Fi, our modern issues. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me well and see
We
me
can
well.
hear you great. You look great. Yeah, great, great all the way around.
So I was lucky enough. It really starts as a lot of things do generationally. Swim. They were afraid of the water. And so my mother insisted at a very young age that my brother and I learned how to swim. And of course, we learned how to swim with the Y. And minnows, guppies, I can't remember all the steps that you go through, but my love of water, my brother's love of water, and more important than love, confidence of one's ability to navigate in water. Were built through YMCA programs in the greater Detroit area growing up. So it was, I didn't even have to think about why it was important for Gabrielle to have those skills. And, it's one of those things where, sure, maybe she would wind up loving it. Maybe she'd wind up doing something with it. But most importantly was safety and her ability to be safe in the water, to respect what can happen in the water, and to know how to take care of herself in the water. And for me, that's no different than teaching your child to look left and right before they cross the street. You are providing them the groundwork to be safe.
Sure.
So learning from, ring around the rosy in the pool when I'm still holding on to her in her little pull-ups, was about comfort in water, was about safety in water. We know fear is really learned. And so by starting her early, it helped eliminate some of that. And it just so happened Gabrielle was a fantastic swimmer. So she had gotten to a point where her swim instructor had recommended that she become a part of a swim team in the area that actually trained junior Olympic and Olympic athletes. Wow. And one of my great joys was watching with her some of the members, grown-up members of her swim club on television during the Olympics in 2016, the Summer Games. So, on so many levels, from a safety standpoint, from an access standpoint, from a confidence standpoint, and then the power of seeing people that look like you who are doing things at the highest level. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful experiences. And she loved the water. She loved the water. And so, when you talk about the right age and the sweet spot where it becomes so important, where children start to have a little more independence and are maybe going to a lake with a friend or going to day camp, that's why this period of time that you guys have so smartly identified is crucial to us. That by the time you get to the third grade, and Gabrielle did not get to third grade, she was finishing second grade. But at that point, there is that pivot. And that's why the numbers start to change so dramatically. And that's why it's so important that we work on water safety for children in these communities in that early to mid elementary school age group.
Exactly. Yeah. So, the partnership between the Y and Gabrielle's Wings the timing is just perfect because of our commitment and work that we will be launching soon, and we'll be launching this together, being really committed to all youth being able to swim by the time they exit third grade. And we recognize how critically important that is, especially for youth and families of color, because of the statistics. And we're going to put up on the screen some of those statistics. I mentioned some of them in my introduction, but there are some other pieces around drowning being the leading cause of unintentional injury, death among children age 1 to 4, and one of the top 3 causes among persons aged under 29. it just emphasizes how important it is for all of us to make this a priority. And we talked about the research that showed that the participation in formal swim lessons can reduce the risk of drowning among children age 1 to 4 significantly. So this is just such an important area to invest for all kids. We mentioned the statistic about children 11 to 12 years old who drown at a 10 times higher rate than white children. So it's really important for us to double down in this space. So through our partnership, we're going to be working with youth and their families, African American, Black youth and their families, to be in the pool, to learn how to swim, and to have some family time. So can you share more about why the part of Gabrielle's strategy around water is so important now in view of what we're trying to do in Seattle?
Absolutely. So there's a few things. I think there's the why of Greater Seattle and why a program like this, given the work that we do. So I'll start with the programming, and we're very focused in what I call game changer opportunities. Where can we really fill the gap? We don't want our work to be transactional. There's a lot of great transactional work you can do. And we do some of that. We do give scholarships to college students, which in some instances could feel like a transactional thing. We're focused on giving those scholarships to students who perhaps would not be going to college without the money that they're receiving from us. So we look for those game changer inflection points in a child's life that will make the difference in their ability to have access, to dream, to function. Gabrielle's Wings has a butterfly as our logo. Gabrielle loved butterflies, but the two powerful things beyond that is certainly the idea of a butterfly effect, that somehow just the simple flutter of a butterfly wing can just have ripple effects across the world, and the power of that, and the idea of soaring. And so that's what we look for in our opportunities with partners. So we look for strong partners who have subject matter expertise, who we can meet at an intersection and hopefully build, in my TV world, we would say pilot, programming and opportunities that can scale. We're looking for scalable opportunities. And so the Gabrielle's Corners that I mentioned in terms of library and technology are an example of something like that. And certainly a partnership with the YMCA of Greater Seattle is a partnership like that. And when I think of just the incredible diversity, whether it's socioeconomic, people of color that exist, your community is a microcosm of what makes this country amazing. And so the opportunity to partner with you, knowing that we could build something here together that could be scalable, that could be replicated in other Ys across the country. And the power in, certainly you are the gold standard when it comes to water safety and to swim lessons. So where we hoped to meet you was at the intersection of access, right? Is the lack of access about transportation? Is the lack of access about paying for swim lessons? Is the lack of access about having a swim instructor that looks like me? So how can we partner and take your platinum standard and meet you at that intersection to say, what can we offer to help amplify this incredible work you're already doing, but meet some of those gaps that perhaps are barriers of entry for communities and demographics where it's so important?
Yes. And a big focus of our work is right in that gap.